That was a joke.
So,
we got to cancel a fishing trip. I got to go back to work.
we ended up getting the farm, and the sellers agreed that we can go ahead and put up trail cameras on it. And gosh, we rolled in. We cut the fishing trip short just a little bit to hurry up and get the hour. I think we fished on the farm and some of the neighbor farms for our trip for our stay. Well, at the same time, I was now putting up the trail cameras. And in about 2 weeks, I mean, this is before we closed on the farm. We're just in the process now getting the paperwork done. In about 2 weeks, several deer showed up. They were pushing the 180, 200 inch mark. And I was sending this picture around to several friends. And they were like, oh, yeah, that's a 190 or 195. That was pushing 200 and so on and so forth. But then the realtor would contact Cody and says, hey, I have other guys interested in the farm. They're offering to pay more than Jimmie paid. As a matter of fact, I'll get in touch with Jimmie to buy it from Jimmie. And I said, whatever. I think we're going to keep it and hunt this farm. So we did. And again, Isaac wasn't able to make it down for the youth season. The farm was quite set up. However, when the time came to capitalize, the deer were under pressure, the deer continued to grow, and we were able to get in on some good hunts. Few hiccups here and there with the deer drives on the neighbor properties, which is fine. They kept a lot of the deer stirred up for us and provided opportunities for us later on the days that we did capitalize. So I think Isaac ended up taking a 150, 160 deer again. And I throw these numbers out because this is how people describe them to me. Hunting to me is going out and shooting deer and having a good time.
Yeah.
So gosh, that's a big deer right there. And that's a nice deer or a nice buck. I don't know about a number or how to score one on the hook, but if he's nice, I want to go after it, And once Isaac came down and took his first deer during early shot night, I was pretty much done hunting until this 200 inch buck showed up on camera again. And he showed up on camera in a spot that I knew this afternoon he'll be within 100 yards of my money pole. And sure enough, that's what happened. So they would capitalize on that one.
Jimmie you had an encounter, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you have an encounter with him earlier in the year before the day that you shot him?
During the archery season, I mean, he was as close as 55 to 65 yards several times. And I was able to video it right out of the bull at that range. I wasn't comfortable shooting my bow at that distance. But yes, he would come and he would bed down and lay down and graze for 45 minutes to an hour.
Brutal.
55 yards from
the
line.
footage of this is incredible. I mean, I've seen the hunts and all that stuff, and the footage of that deer on the encounter specifically is just like, holy cow, it's a giant.
I would die.
It was a giant, yeah. So it's cool. I mean, and it's not like because you were by yourself. Were you self-filming on that one?
Self-filming.
Yeah, so it's not like he's a camera. If that were me, I'd be shaking. 200 inch deer, 55 yards. It was pretty. I don't know, the nerves. I can almost feel the nerves through the TV.
So the final encounter, how close was he?
So December 8th, I think it was the last day of first shotgun season, and so we have the 350 Legend and. We range him at 177, and again, I'm self-filming. I'm in the blind by myself, so it's not perfect. I graduated 56 or 57, so it's always not
what do you expect?
Listen, you can't keep going back to that. You've gone past that now.
Yeah, well, anytime anyone asks me for an executive decision, I'm the last person to ask. This is how we handle it. But so he's chasing this doe across the state in Beanfield. And the doe comes in, she hangs out in the field just a little bit and heads on out. He grazes just a little bit. He comes in and he eats a little. He's attended to all the other bucks in the field. But he starts to pursue this doe. I don't know. Looking back on it, I should have taken the shot. I should have waited a little bit longer. But a hard quartering shot is what I had. And that's what I took at 177 yards. 350 Legend, which we're very comfortable shooting.
Yeah.
And this deer dropped in his tracks. If you ever watched the footage, he dropped in his tracks. And very, very emotional. Because a lot of time went into hunting deer. A lot of time went into just the entire logistics of it,
Mm-hmm.
from the day I heard about the farm to the day of actually shooting a nice deer on this farm. There was a lot that took place. Yeah, and I got quite a bit emotional about that. And so I turned the camera and I'm doing a little interview, and I should have been paying attention to the field because I don't know what happened. Once I got down out of the blind and went over to where he was, he wasn't there anymore. And so now I'm panicking. It's getting dark. Cody and I, we show up later on at night, flashlights, looking, no photos, no tracks or anything. And so he's gone. He's absolutely gone. We went back, looked at the footage, and I mean, in the footage, you see the smoke jump off. You see him hit the ground. I mean, he's picture perfect. Picture perfect video and picture perfect in real life.
Yeah.
It's totally different things. But anyway, about a week or so later, we're still enhancing the farm. We're still doing our management on it. Going through the woods, looking for places to put in trails and food plots and hang off fans. And always keeping an eye out for the coyotes or the vultures or whatever we can find any sign of it. And a place that we always cross to go up to one of our ladder stands on the border of the property. And I see a matted hair on the ground from about 20 yards away. And I walk over and there's a big horn sticking up out of the weeds there. And obviously the coyotes are taking them by there, but at least we had closure on it.
Yeah.
So that night when you guys go back in the flashlights, and so there's zero blood. Did you guys end up getting permission to use a tracker dog, or did you, because I know, especially, you'd like to think everybody does this for no matter if it's a doe or a 120-inch buck or a 200-inch buck, but you're going to try to find them. You've got the footage. You think you got a decent shot, even though it's quartering to. What were the steps that you took after you guys started and, you weren't finding blood? What did you do after that between then and the week later when you found them?
So talking to a lot of the guys who had more experience with it than me, Corey Fisher just lost a nicer buck as well earlier in the season. He had a tracking dog come out, and they still didn't find it. We considered using the tracking dog to come out. However, I was led to believe that, hey, well, maybe he's not mortally wounded. You bring the dog in, you could walk it completely off the property. So there's all these different ideas of what's best to use, what's not good to use. I said if he got up from that and just walked off with no blood, then maybe he's not mortally wounded. I don't know. We really didn't know what to do. But I did know I didn't want to bring the dog in and ruin everyone else's fun around me by running the dog in and out, spoofing here on the neighbors, off the neighbors. I have a little bit more respect for them. But if you do see my deer anywhere, this deer anywhere, just let me know. And but all the neighbors were very, very cooperative. I can't tell you how many trail cameras went up looking for this deer afterwards.
Yeah.
And, but he never left the property. It's about 400 yards from where the standing bean field was when we actually found it.
Okay.
But
so did you guys that night? How far did you track her? I mean, you got no blood. It's really tough. I mean, that's
disheartening.
That's you don't really know what to do. I've been in this situation before as well. And are you grid searching, or are you thinking, oh, he's not hit, no blood. Maybe I didn't hit him really much at all. I mean, what was the thought process there?
Right. So I was told him, well, maybe you just clip the spine. Maybe you hit him high, just clip the spine, which they were survived after that. And going back and looking at the footage, you ever see the footage? It could look like that. It could look like, okay, we just clipped his spine, he went down, he got up. And again, once he got up at the middle of the bean field, which direction did he go? Well, he didn't come west because I was sitting to the west. But he could have went east, north, south. No one knew which direction he was starting the grid search. The direction he came from, he could have went back that way. Who knows which direction he went? And again, I sat in the blind for another 4 or 5 minutes and never noticed any movement at 170 yards where he went down. Once I made the trek to over to where he was, I had to get in the woods, so I couldn't see where he went down. He got up in, again, who knows which direction he went. So that made the determination as far as which way do we start this search. And again, we're not far from our neighbor to the south. We're not far from a neighbor to the east. we go to trumping around, we're really just going to turn one off at this point.
Sure.
That's a real tough call to make.
Especially on a deer of that caliber.
Yeah. And, in those type of situations, I mean, that's part of why we did Deer Cast Track, is to try to give you some more assistance as far as at least, because you're in that situation, you're texting every friend everybody's
Even
got
people
one
you're not friends with.
Yeah, everybody's got one buddy that's really good tracker or hunter, he's got a dog, or everybody, you're texting everybody
You're
trying
desperate.
to get advice on what to do. And track and deer cast is just one more place to go to get some advice, and you're getting it from Bobby Culbertson and Tracker John and Mark and Terry. These 4, 5, 6,000 track jobs between the four of them, however many they've gone through. So that's an area where it might not give you still may not find the deer, but at least they might give you the advice. And I think obviously in your situation there, the tough part about it was the angle, the shot angle, which Mark and Terry talk about that a lot too. And you get in the heat of the moment, it is, and it's just a tough decision to make. And sometimes in a deer like that, you just aren't thinking right. You know what I mean? It's like you might think, oh, I got the right angle, or you just never know.
Yeah. You kind of have that blackout moment where it's like, I don't remember exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And memory is not a very great and reliable resource to fall back on. It can change.
Luckily, you had video footage
that's helpful.
to go back on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and we should mention there's kind of an Easter egg within DeerCast Track. If you go over to the track, so there's kind of two tabs, and if you hit the I think it says 3D. Like tracking tips.
Yeah.
And if you go down that, it shows you a 3-dimensional deer video with the organs and skeletal structure in a video that you can scrub back and forth, and so you can rotate that deer, and you can see based on the height that you were at, whether you were in high up in a tree or all the way down on the ground, and then rotate that deer so you can see, okay, from that vantage point, from this angle on the tree or in the blind, this is what I had. This is the profile that I had.
It's kind of a vital sight picture.
Yeah, we don't do a good job of telling people about that, but it's in there and it's really powerful.
Yeah.
So then, like, when you recover it, do you you go to your taxidermist? Do you just ask him to find a cape that'll fit the deer, and like, how did you handle that?
No, so the first thing we did when we recovered it, we contacted Mr. Jensen, the local DNR, and asked him which tag we need to put on this deer. I think it was muzzleloader season at the time, but it was early shotgun, I believe it was when we actually shot the deer. And so we came to the conclusion to, okay, we'll just put the late muzzleloader tag on it now. It's a late muzzleloader season. I have no intention of hunting. So we put that tag on it. We'd already had Isaac deer and an elk gate from our earlier New Mexico elk hunt at the taxidermy. So we just dropped them off and said, hey, let's just clean them up for now. We'll decide later on what we want to do with it. As far as mount, do we want to life-size mount this deer? Because, again, it was really not even my intention to hunt this first year on the farm. It was, to get the farm and watch stuff grow, reap the benefits of your labor, I guess, and what a beer hunt on it as a topping, I guess, you're going to call. But man, when this deer showed up, okay, well, let's go after it. Looking back on it now, I definitely would have taken the shot that I took, okay? And then if I can go back, I probably just would have managed the farm and not even hunt it, even knowing the deer was there. Again, letting Isaac enjoy the farm. If that deer would have showed up when Isaac was hunting, so be it. Let's get it going. But at the same time, I really didn't care to shoot the biggest deer on the farm. It just happened that I did. I feel bad that we weren't able to recover it. Well, I wasn't able to recover it right away. But yeah, I do a lot different in that scenario.
Man, you could second guess yourself all day long, but really, it's the heat of the moment. Stuff happens, but man, I don't know if I had a deer like that, unless he was super young and you knew he was super young somehow, I don't know how I could not go in and hunt that deer. You're a better man than I am. I couldn't do it.